And we are live.
We are live.
Hello, and thank you for coming. And today we have with us Amber and Dan from Amber and Dan's Carnivore Life.
Hey,
And
y'all.
and of course Sana. So
Hello,
Amber and
everyone. Thanks for
Dan,
being here.
yes.
Thanks for
Tell us
having
how
us.
you got started. Oh, not a problem. This has been I've been waiting. So what got you started on keto, ketovore, carnivore, whatever you're doing right now for both of you?
We started out keto in 2018. We found out that that was the only magic pill that was lowering his blood sugar because he was taking up to 2,000 milligrams of metformin a day. And then we started on keto, and it lowered his blood sugars he was anywhere between 300 and 400, and lowered it down to under 150 in just a couple of weeks. And
Wow.
so we had been doing keto ever since then. And then this year we started our journey to better health, better weight loss. We wanted to initially get our health back and go completely off of man-made medications. So we've been hearing a lot through Dr. Berry about, people who have naturally lowered their A1C and reversed their diabetes through the carnivore diet.
Right.
So we started out Ketovore in January, and then January, February, March, and then April we went triple B&E with Cindy and Larry, and the whole Carnivore Quest community. And
With Cassie and Larry?
Larry, yes.
I'm not with Larry.
No, that's the
I am
first time I've
Brian.
heard that. Thanks. And we've been carnivore ever since then. And our last blood work before August was in February, and he was 7.8.
Sure.
Yeah, you were 7.8. I was 7.3. Now, granted, we've been completely off of any medication since March of this year. We went triple B&E, so we've been full carnivore since then. And in August, we had our blood work done, and our A1Cs his was 6.4, 6.3.
I think it was 6.3.
6.3, and mine was 6.6. And this was without metformin, without the Jardiance, no medication at all. So we've naturally lowered our A1C through the carnivore diet.
That's great.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Pretty awesome.
that's great. When I started keto, I was at 5.8. And within months, it went down to 5.4. Now it's at 5.1. And I stay pretty much ketovore. I haven't delved in. Well, most of my meals, I guess, are carnivore for the most part, except for my keto chow and that I'm not going to give up.
I haven't tried the
that.
keto chow.
Do what?
I haven't tried the keto chow. We haven't tried that one yet.
I have not either.
It's probably good that you didn't, because it can be. Yeah. It's so good. It's like,
I hear it's addicting.
I can't say that. I mean, I might have it once a week, maybe twice a week. It's like all this month I've been fasting 2 days a week simultaneously.
Okay.
So like yesterday and today I fasted, and I'll break my fast tomorrow afternoon. I stopped eating Wednesday night, and I feel good like that, but everybody's different.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready for extended fasting yet, because even when I try to attempt it, both of us, if we try to attempt it, we get hungry, like those hunger pains, like you're real hungry. And, when I'm hungry, I eat. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like if you have to force it, it is definitely not for you. No, everyone should naturally get into the intermittent fasting, is what I feel, because that's truly what you're doing. And, some are able to work their way up to longer fast. But then from my experience, I became very obsessed with fasting, because you do feel amazing. You do feel this euphoric feeling. And it's one of those things, we all generally kind of like end up eating like midday, if not like a little bit later than midday. So when do you guys generally have your first meal?
Probably anywhere between 11 and noon is when we start feeling hungry, because I'm up at 5:30 in the morning because I got to take my son to school early, and then he's up maybe an hour after me. And so we're already drinking our buttered coffee and everything. And which, by the way, we did go back on our coffee. We lasted about
That was going to be the next question. I'll tell you, I never laughed so hard. I never laughed so hard with the video with him carrying the sign. I laughed. I was about to die.
Yeah, we lasted about 9 days. And that was it. We were like, yeah, it's just not, no. We were doing the bone broth thing, but it's not the same. So
you find yourself being a lot more hungry.
Yeah.
Without it too. We have coffee. We're good till 2, 3 in the afternoon sometimes.
Yeah.
But without it was like by 7 in the morning, we were starving.
Oh, so it's really satiating you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's like a mind thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, we would make our bone broth the same way we did the coffee. In the morning, we did with the coffee, and we do like up to 3 tablespoons of butter sometimes, but usually it's about 1.5. And then, you know, we have 2 cups a day. We split a whole pot between us. And with the bone broth, we did the same thing. We had the same amount of bone broth with the same amount of butter, mixed it all up, and we were still hungry. So
it could be the caffeine stuff too.
Yeah, it could
you
be.
know, you got the caffeine in the coffee. You don't have it in the bone broth.
No.
So it could be that. See, I don't. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we felt a lot more fatigued without the coffee too.
That's probably the caffeine.
Yeah. That's it. Because I went through all of my keto, journey drinking my Diet Pepsi, because I don't drink coffee and I don't drink tea. So, you know, that was my only real vice that I didn't give up. And then just recently, my husband he said, all right, we're going to stop buying it for the house. So the only time we get one now is if we go out. And it's like, and that it's going to help a lot, because having it handy at the house, I was drinking can after can after can, where my husband, he drinks a pot of coffee in the morning and then he'll start on Diet Pepsi. So he was caffeinated all day long. And my,
did he ever sleep?
Like a log.
Wow.
I mean, this man, as soon as his head hits the pillow, he's out snoring.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
We started drinking the Coke Zeros for a while, but we kind of just went away from them. And now if we go out and get something to drink, we grab a Coke Zero, and it's like, I'm good for 2, 3 drinks. That's about it. I can't ever finish them anymore.
It's too sweet.
Yeah. Your taste buds definitely change.
Yeah, they do.
Especially, I've never been a sweets type of person. I was always more so like the savory eater. Like, I love my breads. Any sort of bread, like garlic bread, everything. Anything bread was my fix. But that, when it came to the diet soda, like, it was just so much like of a heightened type of like sweetness because of the artificial sweetener. I could not. It was just too much for me too.
Yeah.
But that's just it. Everyone's taste buds are so different. Like, Cindy enjoys them, but for me, I just can't. I figured maybe the sweetness would be different, but no.
You know, and that's the weird thing too, is because I'm more of a sweets person. He's the bread savory, I'm the sweet. And like Coke is more stronger in the sweet factor for me than it is for him. So I don't even really do anything sweet anymore anyway. But yeah, if like he says, if we go out and we get a Coke or something, we can't even finish the whole thing. It gets wasted.
Wow. So I've never lost my taste for sweet. I went, when I first started, I went 90 days, very strict keto. And I didn't have anything except the Diet Pepsi. I didn't have anything, for 90 days. No keto sweets, no, the baked goods that I was making myself. None of that for at least the first 90 days. And I did great. I lost my 100 pounds on keto. And I tell everybody, sitting on my butt. I didn't exercise. I didn't do anything. And this was right in the middle of the pandemic. So, it was like, whatever. That's what I did. Well, now,
Right.
we go to the gym, we walk every day. It's all good. But shit, it's tough sometimes. But I never lost that sweet taste. So like keto chow now, that's got some sweet taste to it. And whew.
I've seen people using it to make ice cream too.
Yes. That's a huge thing.
I just had 2 shakes in the refrigerator. And since I've been fasting, I put them in the creamy containers and put them in the freezer for ice creams the next few days. So those, because the shakes, they'll last a certain amount of time in the fridge. Well, all you're going to do is make the shake, pour it in the creamy container and freeze it. So it's ready for ice cream, just to run it through the machine. But I've used it to make waffles. I've used it to make biscuits. I've used it to make all kinds of stuff. And I mean, it's great. It's great. The keto chow waffles are amazing. It's just egg, cheese,
do you make
and
it like
keto
chocolate
chow.
style?
Yeah. Well, I have a 4 waffle, the square ones. I have the 4. It's a dash, but it's 4 square waffles instead of the little round ones. But yeah, it's like 1 pack of keto chow or 1 serving with 3 eggs and a cup of cheese, and a little bit of water to the desired consistency. And you just make waffles. And chocolate peanut butter waffles with peanut butter spread on it. I'm bad.
Remember, she's the sweets one, Cindy. So you're triggering her with that.
I'm sorry. But it's so good. And it works for me.
That's okay. We can't afford that keto chow anyway. So it's probably good.
Yeah, I have not. I even like literally, I was previous 4 years keto. January this year, I started carnivore. So almost like 9 months carnivore. And I have not tried keto chow. I definitely know what their daily minerals taste like, but straight up just keto chow shakes, I have no clue. I take Cindy's word for it.
Yeah, we're just gonna take her word for it.
Well, you saw my video, Sana, about my stash of keto chow.
Yes. Oh. So for anyone that is not familiar with your channel, what does carnivore look like for you both right now?
Well, we mostly do it on a budget because we live in California and everything's expensive here. So we mostly just cook chuck roast, tri-tip roast, ground beef, bacon. What else? Every once in a while, we'll stock up on ribeyes when they have them on sale for $7.99 a pound. But it's mostly ground beef and bacon is what we eat.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you on the ribeye sale. Do you get any ribeye sales by you, Cindy?
The cheapest we've seen them is $9.99 a pound, and then you turn around and get yours for $6.99. I was like, I'm living in the wrong place.
Here in South Florida, it is very, very rare. But Winn-Dixie, they ended up having a sale for $6.99 a pound, and best believe we were there as soon as that store opened.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we were lucky because the staff there, they were so super nice that they had a limit of like 2 packs each that had 4 steaks in it each. And they just told us, they were like, oh, go ahead. Like, just ring them up in separate transaction. You're good. So they really didn't care. They were like, you're giving me job security. You shop to your heart's desire. They did not care.
And that's
so
kind
we
of how we
definitely
do it.
partake there a lot.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I love it when they have a good sale on meat. Wait, what is that? System UI isn't responding. Can you hear me?
We can hear
It's
you. You're
starting to,
starting to
yeah, the
fade a
image is,
little bit.
yeah, the image is breaking up a little bit.
Okay, so do we close app or click wait?
Is it your browser that it's
Uh-oh,
saying
they
that
froze
for?
it. Says system UI isn't responding.
Do you have any other
on your
tabs
StreamYard?
open?
Huh?
Is it showing that on StreamYard?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have any other tabs open other than the one you're on now for StreamYard?
No.
Well, maybe close out and come back in.
Okay. Hold on. Bear with me, y'all.
okay. We'll be here.
We will entertain.
Yes,
Okay,
no,
are we still here?
absolutely.
Hi,
Are we
Susie.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. I just clicked close app but I've noticed it's very slow and
slow.
glitchy.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
still kind of weird, kind of wonky.
Okay. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be here.
No, we'll definitely be here. And thank you, everyone, for definitely hanging tight through tech issues. You know the way those tech issues go.
Yeah, boy. And Sana, I just watched your video where you mentioned the issues on the one with Neely when you made the Salisbury steaks.
Yes, because for me, it was hard because viewers were telling us there was no glitches coming through, but some said there was a glitch. So
I had
it's hard
issues.
to pinpoint those glitches.
I had so many issues that day. I was so frustrated.
No, it was still an amazing live. No,
Mhm.
most definitely.
Yeah,
Now,
I
hopefully they
rewatched it.
can get it fixed and everything situated.
Yeah. Thanks, Lynn. You're right. They're back.
Okay. Okay. Now my movement's
Take
better a
two.
little
Let's
bit.
see. Yes, yes. You are back, both of you. Awesome,
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
All
We're
right.
good.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you mentioned about the sale, like especially on the ribeye, because that is the most common thing I've heard, like especially almost like 9 months being into carnivore, that I never heard any complaints throughout my whole 4 years keto. Nobody ever complained keto was expensive, but for whatever
Mhm.
reason, they associate carnivore with being expensive. And carnivore, it's so simplified. It's like you don't have
Yeah.
all those keto ingredients. So why are you mentally thinking it's expensive? So I think a lot of people, it's just difficult in a way because
Mhm.
they think, oh my gosh, I'm having an elimination. I got to go to the store. I got to have my grocery cart packed with all this meat. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, like tread lightly, like take
Mhm.
it pace cycle to pace cycle, show
Right.
yourself that grace. Like you don't have to go on a shopping spree of all the meats. And
No, you
some,
don't.
you can take it as simple as do burger patties, or get
Right.
yourself some ground beef. If the ground beef is cheaper per pound than prepackaged burger patties, make your own burger patties. You might have to adapt a little bit to make it cheaper, but it's very possible.
Yeah, if you
So I'm
Yeah.
really
haven't seen
happy that you
Sana's
Actually,
mentioned that.
really
Salisbury
do.
steak, if you haven't seen
Huh?
Sana's Salisbury steak video, you got to watch that. It's good. It
I
looks
have
good.
one too.
Oh, you have one
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Sana,
We'll have
we
to
have a
we'll have to
question.
compare then, because I've been making
Yeah.
this one. Oh my gosh, like shortly from when we started keto, because our oldest son, he's almost going to be 15 next month. But oh my goodness, he was the only one that experienced standard American diet. So we
Mhm.
used to buy like those frozen Salisbury steak packets. And oh, that was a hard one for him because he just loved it so much. So
Yeah.
I had to figure just an easy peasy kind of way, because a lot of the recipes I looked up for keto, they had every kind of wonky ingredient, like even just to shape like the
Yeah.
Salisbury steak, like they're adding almond flour to it, and I'm like, why? Why are we adding almond flour
Why?
to the meat? why?
Yeah, why?
But
right,
no,
Sana,
like
we have a question
literally.
for you. What's next on the recipe videos? Becky wants to know.
So coming up, a release is going to be Tuesday. I'm going to share, I dehydrated some steak chips. So several months ago, I had seen on a carnivore Facebook group, they were using the steak gums, like those steak, like thin, frozen, just like for Philly cheesesteak is generally what they're used for, those steak gums. And I had seen in a carnivore group, someone actually dehydrated them to make like these lengthy type of like meat chips. And then I had
Mm-hmm.
seen just recently Two Crazy Ketos, they actually did a video. But I figure because, their dehydrator is a different brand than mine, I literally bought like a the cheapest I found out there dehydrator for $85 from Walmart. And I purchased it specifically because of the price and because it was like a round type of dehydrator that's very, very light because the only really thing that has weight to it is like the top part of the unit that actually has that airflow. But for $85, this thing really amazed me. It really has amazed me because I've done jerky with it so far, came out amazing. I've done the meat
Okay.
chips, came out amazing. I did what a lot of states call fruit leather. A lot of people know them like from childhood as the fruit roll-ups, but I did that out of berries for my kids, the fruit leather, and it came out looking amazing. Of course, I never tasted it, but they loved it. So
Where's the
I
video on
feel
that one?
I did not. It's tricky because my family is still over 4 years keto. So even though come January of this year, I transitioned for myself to carnivore because that's what was best for me to do. They did not. Are they more so meat heavy keto? Absolutely, because I'm the one that cooks in the house. So they get like easy peasy, like keto sides now, is what I do for them. They don't get anything like lavish because I definitely don't want to be spending, hours in the kitchen just to make like a keto lavish side dish for them. But they are more so just meat heavy keto at this point. But, I still give them berries because still, yeah, that's not going to, trigger any big sugar when it comes to the berries, especially, when they're in season and stuff. But no, I am afraid to post certain things because a lot of people that do watch some of the videos, they are carnivore and certain things, it could trigger some. And just kind of having like the understanding of food addiction, it's difficult because some people will get very triggered with their food addiction just by watching someone making something. So it's tricky. I don't want to off put to nobody. So it's kind of like a slippery slope with the content.
Well, you
Oh
also
man,
got to
but
look at the fact,
you've
like I have more than carnivores watching my channel.
Mm,
And if you've got those few ketovores or ketos out there that are still watching,
yeah.
they don't know how to make that fruit leather, they're gonna want to know how to do it. So I think you should post it, honestly.
I'll do it then. I'll do it. You guys convinced me. You convinced
We want
me.
to get a dehydrator too, because I actually saw I don't know if it was the Carnivore Quest group or somewhere else I saw, but somebody made meat chips out of that Carl Budding roast beef. Yeah,
Oh, I've
and they used
done a deli turkey is what I've done before. But I did it in the oven and oh my goodness, in the oven it took forever and a day. So that's why I'm so
yeah,
happy with this dehydrator because it just saves so much time, especially here in
right.
South Florida. Nobody wants to be running their oven for hours on end.
No
It
kidding.
literally just overworks the air conditioner. But yeah, the deli meat is, oh my goodness, it is such a convenient meat chip. And it becomes so affordable for the meat chips too.
Mhm.
you see,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Lynn says, "Do
otherwise I
it,
wouldn't be
Sana,
able to.
do it."
I will. I will. You topped it off, Lynn.
Did you see Becky's comment? I'm looking for one of those single carnivore grilling guys to smoke some meat for me.
Oh, they're out there, Becky. And you know what? I will say, I did see in one of the carnivore groups, there actually is a carnivore, kind of like a Facebook group for the singles to hook up. So it does exist. It does exist.
Then
Well,
Rick
there
says,
you
I
go.
find
Very
it
much
very
be a
easy to cook
possibility.
my meals. Maybe because my wife cooks most of them.
My husband is right there with you, Rick.
Sounds
I think,
familiar.
yeah, right. Hello,
So,
But,
Brenda. Happy Friday.
yes. Go ahead,
But I just want to
Amber.
tell people out there who are interested in the carnivore diet, it's not expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go out and buy briskets and ribeyes and all kinds of expensive meats. You can do this on a budget. And like you were talking about earlier, I buy that 30-pound chub of ground beef from Walmart because it's the cheapest if the other grocery stores don't have it on sale. And I prep burger patties. I made how many burger patties did I make out of this one? I think it was like 40 hamburger patties, quarter-pound patties.
Wow.
Out of that big hamburger, because that's how we mostly eat our hamburger anyway. Because if I make a meatloaf, the meatloaf's got to have bell pepper, onion, all kinds of seasonings and egg and all that stuff. And
otherwise, it's just a baked hamburger.
Yeah, it's just baked hamburger. And when I grew up, meatloaf always was accompanied with baked potatoes, and that's a trigger for me. So, and I am a big potato eater. Like, you give me a potato any way it's cooked, and I will eat it. I don't care.
Me too. I'm right there with you with the savory.
Loaded baked potato with the side of meatloaf, man. That was my jam.
Now, I'll tell you, the best meatloaf recipe that I have tried since going keto was Nisha's. It is so good.
Panko?
Pork panko. It has Parmesan cheese in it. So, if you're doing that, and then eggs, and then it's just covered in bacon. And what I have done,
the pork panko.
Do what?
For me, literally exactly her recipe you're mentioning, but I don't add the pork panko.
Right. And then, you don't add the bacon either.
It literally what Cindy described, like the egg and the cheese, that's worked out to be binder enough for me. Like, I literally did not need the pork panko.
Well, you're allergic to pork anyway, so that
would. But still, it worked even without it. So, like, literally, it came out of like the loaf pan exactly like a meatloaf, like ready to like slice down.
Oh, okay. Pretty cool.
Yeah, what were you saying about the recipe, Cindy?
So I have done it where I've used 3 different kinds of meats. Well, right now I have a pound of ground bison, a pound of ground lamb, and a pound of ground beef to make one, this week. And it's so good. It's all the different flavors just meshed together. It's amazing. It's really good.
I've never tried lamb.
I'm not a big fan, sorry, Sana, but ground and mixed with the other meats. Now, my husband likes lamb chops, I guess. So we just don't get them. But we bought the ground lamb at Aldi's, and I told him, I said, I'm going to use that for a meatloaf. But it's good. When you mix the different kinds of meats with it, it's really good.
I tried incorporating liver into our diets because he grew up eating liver and onions. Me, I've never been a fan of liver. So what I did was I took 5 pounds of ground beef to 1 pound of liver, and I ground up all the liver and I mixed it into the ground beef and made beef patties with it. And it was just very off tasting for me. So the rest of the patties he ate, but yeah, I was trying to put liver into the diet and I just can't do it. I tried to disguise the taste and it's just not. It didn't taste like a regular hamburger patty to me.
So Connie says she went to the Carnivore Quest meetup this afternoon. Wish y'all could have been here with us. It was great to spend the afternoon with Cassie, Larry, Kip, Sean, their families, and many others. That's awesome.
We wanted to.
We wanted to go.
Yeah. We were trying to, but it wasn't in the finances.
Same here. Very tempting.
I thought BP's was diet food. What's BP's? I lost somewhere.
Blood pressure?
Blood pressure ain't diet food.
No.
BP's was diet food.
Brenda, what's the BP's that you're talking about? Did I miss something?
Burger patties, maybe?
I think so, possibly. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, baked potatoes. There you go, Cindy.
Oh, that's some bad
There's the missing
stuff.
piece.
That's why. There's the BP. It's a gas
Well,
station by me is what BP is.
depending on the diet mentalities that are out there, baked potato could definitely be, especially sweet potato, could definitely be diet food.
Well, according to
you're
the
absolutely right,
ADA, it's
Brenda.
diabetic friendly, but
Right.
yeah, the ADA's got it backwards, I think.
Let me
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you, my
Very
husband is
much.
type 1. Okay.
Mhm.
He's been diabetic. He was diagnosed at the age of 2. He has his endocrinologist before we moved here to Kentucky. We were in New Hampshire, and his endocrinologist there told him, "You need carbs." And he looked at him like, "No, I don't." He's like, "No, I don't." And when he told him that he was going keto, that he was doing keto, and he's like, "And that's working for you?" Because his A1C was coming down, Right now, as a type 1, his A1C is 6.6. And that's, I mean, that's fantastic for him. But he can still go lower. He can still be at a normal A1C and still be type 1. And his endocrinologist here is like, "I don't want you going any lower." I'm like, "Well, that's stupid." It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I never understood, because type 1 diabetic, your body doesn't produce enough insulin. So you need to replace that insulin that it's not producing. So that's where the doctors say, you should eat carbs or have a piece of candy. So I never really and he's okay.
He's
eating
great.
carbs. Okay.
His meals, awesome. Yesterday. Now, I told you I'm fasting. Mm-hmm. And he went in the kitchen and he's piddling around. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm fixing me something to eat." He made himself an omelet. He cut up some sliced ham. He had eggs. He did put a little onion in it and cheese. And then I had made these, I had found this keto recipe for Italian rolls. And I mean, they were okay. But he cut one of those in half, put it in the toaster. And I'm like, "You need any help?" He's like, "Nope." I'm like, "All right." I went back out of the room. I'm like, "Okay, that works for me." But yeah, he's done so well. And most of his meals are carnivore. Because, I mean, typically we eat steak or burgers and eggs and, some cheese. But overall, I mean, he partakes in the keto chow too, and it does not affect his blood sugar at all.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
And I'll tell you, in fact, he's on an insulin pump, and when he eats, he has to enter in how many carbs he's eating. And when we first started with keto chow, he would put in the total number of carbs and his blood sugars would go low. So with keto chow, he can use the net carb amount and it holds his sugar steady.
Oh, okay.
So if he puts in the total amount, his blood sugars will go low. It's just nuts. And we found that to be the same with other keto products too, like Perfect Keto bars and things like that. If he uses the total carb count, it'll bring his sugars too low. So there's a little something to be said for the net carb totals, even though we do total carbs, but for him, for his blood sugars to stay steady instead of that constant roller coaster ride, the highs and lows, and he knows what he's got to do, and it's been really good for him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I mean, I know everybody's different, because there's a lot of people who say, like with the Chalk Zero is another thing that I really like, that he can eat that without his sugars going wonky. You know, it's got to be in moderation. He's got to, you know, pay attention to serving sizes and things like that. But some people, it really affects their sugars, and they can't do it.
Yeah, it affects mine. Even if I do the sugar-free, keto-friendly stuff, it still spikes my blood sugar. It's not super high, but it's high enough for me to notice a difference. So we just stay away from it.
Well, like
during keto, I could not. It messed up my gut. So it was not even a blood sugar issue at all, because I've never been a sweets person. So I never had like any glucose issues at all, but it messed up my stomach big time.
Yeah. Like sugar alcohols will do that to some people. If
yes.
you're real sensitive to it. So anything
that
like
was enough to keep away.
Now the only thing that messed up my stomach, nothing does now, but in the past, pre-keto, I would eat those the sugar-free chocolates that you can get in the pharmacy, in the drugstores, you know, like the
Russell Stover.
Yes, Russell Stovers, Whitman's, all that stuff. That messed up my stomach, because that had some really bad ingredients in it. And, you know, it wasn't something I was looking at that. I just saw sugar-free. I'm good. But no. And it's nothing like the other stuff. Chalk Zero is nothing like that stuff. It has better ingredients than those things do. You know, so it's still has sugar alcohols, but the other things had real sugars in them. Just the hidden names for them. You know, so it's crazy.
Yeah.
So with Cindy bringing up about the doctor trips, have either of you have any interesting like post keto, post carnivore doctor visits that were kind of interesting now that you're doing a way of eating that necessarily not all the doctors out there agree with?
Tell them what she said.
Our doctor fought us in the beginning when we told her we were going from keto to carnivore, and she fought us for the longest time, talking about you need vegetables and you need all this, until she started seeing my A1C dropping, and she's like, "You just keep what you're doing."
That's right. It shuts them up real quick.
Yes, she can't fight with you at that point.
I tried telling her, look up Dr. Berry, and that's who we've kind of been following along with in the beginning. We started with him.
I think most everybody did. He's just so impressive.
And it's just, I mean, when I first was diabetic, my blood sugar was regularly in the 3, 4, 5. I was up to 700 a couple times.
Wow, my goodness, wow.
And then we started keto, and that brought it down a little more. But since we've gone carnivore, I haven't touched medication the whole time. And I'm in the 100s.
Amazing. Congratulations on that. Because
fantastic.
that's a huge thing right there, is getting off the medication. Like, you can't get a better non-scale victory than getting off those meds, because it's not only taking the medication, but, you know, every medication comes with side effects. Not only do they come with the side effects, but the cost of the medication. You know, some people think, oh, well, it's only like a couple $1 copay. But, you know, that's a couple dollars you could be putting to something else.
Meat.
But wow.
Right.
Exactly.
Meat. Right.
Exactly. Oh, wow. That's huge right there.
I'll just go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I just found out that I had just switched once I turned 65 to Humana Advantage Plan. And I just got a letter in the mail last week that my doctor is no longer going to take it. So I have to find a new doctor. So it's like, great. Now I got to train somebody else.
Well, you can always move to Tennessee and look up Dr. Barry.
Oh, I'm in Kentucky. I'm not that far. So
there you go.
That's right, Lynn. The lab work doesn't lie.
Yeah, I'd love to have him as a doctor.
You and everybody else.
I was going to say, heck yeah. Make sure my husband doesn't come in the door. But yeah. he's a great.
Okay, he is like a Dr. McDreamy, but that's not the reason why.
I'll tell you, he is such and I've had the good luck to meet him. And last year at Ketopalooza, and then this past April at KetoCon. And I mean, he is every bit as approachable as everybody says. He is so nice and so down to earth. It's like, wow, and even Dr. Baker, he was at KetoCon, and he had interviewed me last May, and I was a nervous wreck because I had never done anything. I hadn't started my channel yet. I hadn't done anything except watch a video. Here's my sister.
I just read that.
She's right. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But so I had this Zoom meeting with Dr. Baker. Well, he was at KetoCon, so I actually got to meet him. And there were 4 of us there. So it was my sister Debbie, my husband, my niece, and I. And we had our picture taken with him. His wingspan is like, whoa, massive around all of us. That's Dr. Baker. But he was really, really nice. And my husband, oh my God, he embarrassed me so bad. He goes up to Dr. Baker. He says, "Can I ask you a question?" And he's like, "Sure." He says, "You work out, right?" And I looked at Dr. Baker. I said, "I'm so sorry." I said, if you guys have not seen him, I mean, I'm sure you have. He's a beast. I mean, he beyond works out. And then, I mean, he had a legitimate question for him, but whatever. So, but that was the wrong way to start that off. But anyway, with my sister, last year at Ketopalooza, we had our picture taken with Dr. Barry. And she said, before we went, she said, "We're going to get a picture with him. We're going to sandwich him in." So we're on either side of him. And we walked away. She says, "He was rubbing my arm." She's funny. She's funny.
So is he as tall as I think he is? Is he like super tall?
They are both about 6'5", Dr. Baker and Dr. Barry.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Tom's comment. "I told my doctor to let me see his blood work. That didn't go well."
Exactly.
I've had to change docs 3 times in the last couple of years. I'd rather have a stick in my eye than have to argue my dietary choices over and over and over. None of them get it. Well, when we moved, we got really lucky. I don't know if you guys have had problems with your doctors. The one we had in New Hampshire was great. When I started keto, he's like, "Okay." Like, okay. Because I didn't ever just try to disguise it. I've been straight up. So my husband researched doctors in Kentucky when we were getting ready to move. And he found the doctor that we have. And I had made appointments for us. So we had our closing date for the house. A couple days later, we had our doctor's appointments already scheduled. Mm-hmm. So we went to him and we told him we were doing keto. He's like, nothing was said. Mm-hmm. Well, a couple months later, we find out he's had success on keto. So that's why he didn't say anything. But yeah, I'm waiting. Now I have to get a new one. And I'm ready for a fight.
How long have we been with her?
For a few years now.
A few
But
years
it seems
now.
like every time we get a real good one, they end up leaving.
Yeah, the doctors never stick around here.
Yes. That's the
So-
issue we have here in Florida as well.
That's
Mhm.
awful. Our doctor
But
was sticking around. We tried to bring him with us when we moved. He was so good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I pack you in my suitcase and bring you with us? Because I don't want to leave him. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
it's like, because he was really good. And we could joke with him and he took his time with us and he was great. This one,
That's what I like about ours, because we both go in to see her at the same time. We just book our appointments same day and everything. And she's very thorough with us. And, we love her. Her chairside manner is great. She, she's knows what she's doing. She's former military. So she's just awesome. And, she doesn't completely 100% agree with what we're doing, but it is working for us. So she's
Right.
on board with it, but, I can't really say anything for any of the other doctors in this town. I actually tried searching, went on Facebook and asked, is there a doctor here that accepts our insurance and is okay with the keto carnivore diet? I didn't really get any answers on that one, but because our doctor, we haven't seen her since March of this year because she was switching clinics and was getting all of her stuff turned over to the other place. And now she's gone right now for unforeseen circumstances. So we haven't even,
leaving too.
yeah, so we haven't even been in to see her since March. We had our blood work done and we were supposed to go in and see her, but they had to cancel us. And then they're like, we'll just call you when she comes back. We're like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
that's nice.
What's going on.
Joys of living in a small town.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I have scheduled an appointment with and it's an APRN. And like I said, it's not until January, which is when I was supposed to go back for my follow-up with our doctor now. So they accommodated me with that part.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know. Keto carnivore doctors. Dr. Barry also has one out. He has
I try to
thing
find
out there.
his, but it's not coming up. So I don't know if they did away with it or what. But
I
no,
don't
it
know.
won't come up.
I've
for
never
his
had any
one.
luck looking for those like that. And it's
No. But I posted this link here for anyone that's possibly looking for a keto carnivore friendly doctor. That link for Dr. Kiltz goes to like just a search where you just literally put in either your address, your city, your zip code kind of thing. And depending by profession, so it looks like depending on like acupuncture, anesthesiology. So it literally has a lot of specialists that are possibly keto carnivore friendly. So that's really cool that he has like a full blown list like this.
nice.
There's another one. The name's escaping me, but he's been on the Keto Cookout Live with Alia and Adam.
Oh,
Yeah, is it Dr. Brown? I want to say Dr. Brown. He's in Chicago.
oh, you're talking about Dr. Tony Hampson.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, he's actually going to be with us next week, Friday.
Really?
Yes, I've been following
Yes.
him for a good long while, and he is amazing. He's very down to earth.
Yeah, he seems that way, and he's all about the
Yes.
carnivore diet. And I'm like, can you be my doctor?
Yes, he's very much about like just proper human diet in general. Whether you're keto, ketovore, carnivore, he is not kind of just, oh, like one size fits all. That's what really, really kind of just attracted me to his channel when I first started keto. But yeah, he definitely is amazing.
Yeah, and there's so many doubters out there, and it's like the more doctors we can find that promote this way of eating, the better off we're going to be. But I mean, first it was Dr. Barry, and then I discovered Dr. Baker, and then Dr. Chafee, and now Dr. Hampton and Dr. Kiltz. And it's like there's more of them out there. They're just not all on YouTube yet.
And not near us.
Yeah, not near us.
You just got to move.
Yeah, we're planning on that here in the next few years. So
as soon as our son graduates high school, we're out of California.
yeah.
Where do you have plans of where you're going yet, or no?
Working on that. Possibly Oklahoma,
So-
where my brother lives.
Oh, okay. You'll
Maybe
definitely get good meat there.
Yeah. We want to go somewhere where we can hunt and raise our own food that's not going to cost us $5,000, you know, and
Right.
go out fish wherever we want, and you know, just have the carnivore lifestyle on our terms, you know. So
Yep.
because it
So
can be
if-
tough sometimes.
Have any of you, Sana or Amber and Dan, had any how do I put this? Arguments with your doctors where you're going to stand your ground and just turn down any prescriptions or anything like that, where they're wanting you to take medicines and you're like, nope, not going to do it?
Not really arguments, but she has tried to give me stuff before, and I've told her I won't take it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a big pill popper. I've never been,
Right.
you know, if he's got his hand in it, I don't like it.
Right.
You know.
And I even told her, and now this wasn't carnivore related, but or diabetic related, but I'm going through the process of perimenopause.
Okay, yes.
I told her, I said, I don't want hormone replacement therapy. I said, if anything, I want to go as holistically as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Any kind of medications, prescription, over the counter, you know, whatever. I want to stay completely natural. Now, we were still in the process of, you know, getting things done and figuring things out. But she said from everything I told her, she said it sounded like I was definitely on the road to menopause. But since starting carnivore, since March, I haven't had a hot flash since March.
Oh,
Nice.
you see
I
that?
really haven't had any of the perimenopause symptoms. I used to have very excruciatingly painful menstrual cycles. I don't know if you've ever heard of dysmenorrhea, but it's a form of endometriosis. I know a lot of people have heard of that. Those, I've given birth to 3 babies, and those period pains were worse than that. If you can relate to that.
I can only imagine, because I've heard the stories, and wow.
I'm sitting there crying, doubled up in pain. I mean, I never cried when I had my babies, you know. I did after they were born because I was happy, but
Right.
those have definitely improved. Like, I don't have near as much pain anymore as I used to. And I would take a 600 milligram Motrin and it would barely take the edge off of that pain. And
Wow.
so I can definitely say that carnivore has definitely improved a lot of things in my life. So don't doubt it.
I had a lot of cramps when I had my cycles, but I had also other problems where I had to have a hysterectomy in my 30s, and ovaries and everything gone, everything. So I was right into menopause. It's like boom.
Yeah.
So,
And that was
but
before
even
we
now,
all
I
knew
don't get
about
any
this
issues with hot flashes or anything. Nothing
Yeah.
since then. I don't have any of that.
And it's interesting you say that, Amber, because I've even seen, like, in some of the carnivore groups, I've seen some that they will mention that they have literally full blown been in postmenopause for years on end. Like, we're talking about like maybe like decade or more, and going carnivore, like consistently carnivore for a good like 4 to 6 months, they end up starting to get a cycle.
Yeah. I've
Better
heard
watch that stuff. Y'all get pregnant.
I don't think someone at that phase would want to, after being postmenopause for 10 plus years and then to deal with a pregnancy. Yeah.
Oh gosh, no. I wouldn't. No.
But it's
My son,
amazing. Yeah.
16, in November, and I had my tubes tied like the next morning after I gave birth to him. And I mean, they say God has a sense of humor, but that's not funny.
Right.
I'm 46 years
Miracles
old.
are possible. God has a sense of humor.
I just had my 1-year-old granddaughter for just a few hours, and I'm like, okay, you can take her back now. Like, no, I'm done.
Those are the fun years, though. Those are cute.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a grandkid.
Our youngest.
I love having her.
Our youngest grandchild is 14.
Huh?
I said, our youngest grandchild is 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I miss those baby years, but I don't want any of my grandkids to have kids yet. So no, I have a 21-year-old granddaughter and a 20-year-old granddaughter. And no, you're not ready. No.
No, but for me, I did not have to refuse any medication. I literally am the same way, just like Amber, you said, like I am very much, I've always been, even before keto, I did not have like good feelings about being on any medication. Even like when it came to a multivitamin, like even that was kind of just like cringe to me. Like, why am I taking this like every single day? And it's like a lot of times people take it, but they don't even do the due diligence to find out if they really need this multivitamin they're taking. They're just taking it just to take it because it is labeled as a daily vitamin. And it's like, why are you taking it? Like, if you are not getting any sort of blood work done to find out if you truly have any deficiencies in those areas, why are you taking it? So, no, thankfully, I have not been in a situation where I've had to take any medication, but yeah, for me, I would definitely be refusing it.
Well, see, for me, after having bypass surgery, my body can't absorb the vitamins from the food. So when you have that surgery, they tell you will have to take supplements the rest of your life because of the absorption issue.
Bypass? Okay.
Yeah, I had gastric bypass in 2007. And so because of that, I do take a lot of vitamins. The only prescription medication I have is for my lymphedema to keep the swelling under control.
He's okay. We're living real life over here.
This is this is real stuff. He could have said hi, but my cardiologist, they had put on my chart last year that I was allergic to statins. Because previous years ago, my doctor then had put me on a statin and I could not raise my arms without a lot of pain.
Oh, wow.
So when I saw the cardiologist here a year ago, they wrote in my chart that I was allergic to statins because of what had happened. This year, this past June, the doctor looks at me himself and he says, I can't get you to take a statin. I was like, did you not read my chart? You guys are the ones that put it on there that I was allergic to them.
Wow.
And the reasoning was the muscle pain. I seriously could not do this without my arm hurting.
Wow.
And that's one of the side effects of statins is muscle aches. And it was just horrible.
Oh my goodness.
So I looked at him and he said, you really should be on one. Now, mind you, my triglycerides were 39. My HDL was 79. All great numbers. Never even discussed that lipid panel when he's telling me, oh, I think you should take a statin. I'm like, no, not going to do it. And then he asked me again. He said, well, why don't you want to do it? You just don't want to deal with the pain? And I'm like, hell no, I don't want to deal with this pain anymore. It was awful. I felt like slapping this man. I'm like, what?
So
it was
please
crazy.
Tell me you don't have the same doctor anymore.
I only have to see him once a year. So, he's the cardiologist. Whatever. And that's only because I had I had an abnormal EKG once, and they sent me to him, and he sent me for an echocardiogram that came back normal.
Mm-hmm.
But because of listening to that wonderful Dr. Barry, so everybody should have a CAC done.
Mm-hmm.
I had one done, and my score was well over 5,000. And then I had one done a year later, and it was over 6,000.
Now,
and people freak out when it's a cardiac artery calcium score.
Okay, and what's
people freak out when it's 100.
Oh,
mine was in the thousands and thousands. So, it supposedly puts me in a 95th percentile of having a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
I feel good. I ain't gonna worry about it. I won't have another test done.
Okay.
Nope. Exposing darkness. I would never go on a statin again. Pain all over my body. Absolutely. It was horrible. And but yeah, the only thing I do take as far as for preventive heart attacks is a low dose aspirin. That's it.
Yeah, and that's just it, the side effects. And then also, it's a lot of medications, and we're not healthcare professionals, but
no,
a lot of these medications, your body becomes so immune and so reliant once you start taking some of these medications for years on end. And then coming off of it is a nightmare, because a lot of times they have to taper you off of the medication. You can't just cold turkey come off of some of these medications, depending on how long sometimes you've been taking it. A lot of people end up having side effects even coming off of them. So it's
right.
It's a scary situation.
Cold turkey, he did
Cold
after
turkey.
10 years, went off that metformin.
Wow.
He just taken it. And
everything went well coming
Yeah.
off of it. That's
Yeah,
amazing. And some have that experience, and it's amazing when you can, because that's when you really have that full-on advantage of, this way of eating truly healing everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, when I was taking the statins years ago, and I started with this arm pain, and I looked up the side effects for it, I quit taking it just overnight. The next visit to the doctor, which was months later, is when I told him I quit taking it. And he asked me why, and I told him, and all he could say was, okay, because he knew that was a side effect. And they don't tell you this stuff. Granted, you got all that mile-long stuff to read if you want to. But, they should be upfront with telling people, well, these are the possible major side effects. And whatever. You go from there. But, yeah, as soon as I quit taking it, the pain went away. So I knew it was that. And it was just crazy. But, oh, man.
Some
That's why I said this new doctor tries to give me something on it. I'm just going, no.
A lot of them are just pill pushers now. That's
yeah, they're just in it for the paycheck.
Well, I was on blood pressure medicine for many, many years. And when my doctor back in New Hampshire, he said, maybe you could stop taking it I said, now that I was afraid to just stop taking, because I had been on it for so long. And high blood pressure is a silent killer. It's really dangerous. So I said, well, this is what's going to happen. I said, why don't we do half of it? I said, I'll take half a dose. But I haven't had any for quite a while now. I am totally off of it. My blood pressure is good after, 50 years of battling high blood pressure. So then that's keto. That's definitely keto.
That's another thing that changed with me too, was my blood pressure. And I wasn't like super high, but it was enough to where the doctor was concerned, and she wanted me to take my blood pressure every morning. And since going carnivore, that has been better too.
Yep. It's just this whole way of eating, it's amazing, the health benefits. And the people that don't want to listen, and say, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't even see the comments since I had to take these glasses off. The glare was driving me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was nuts. Like I have two sons. One is trying, I guess. The other son needs to do something because he is sick and
Mm-hmm.
he won't listen. And it's so aggravating for a parent.
Yeah.
When your child is sick, it doesn't matter how old they are. He's 42 years old. He has Crohn's disease. He's had most of his colon removed back in 2009. And I mean, so his large intestine is virtually gone. All he has is a small intestine, and his Crohn's is attacking it. And it's like, just eat meat, Charlie. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he just, he said, I'm listening to my doctor. I said, yeah, where's that getting you?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I said, it's getting you in and out of the hospital, surgery after surgery. That's what you get for listening to your doctor. That's exactly where you're at, where you're doing. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. I have two adult daughters that are stubborn and just will want to do whatever they want to do.
They think all this is a quack, and our whole family pretty much just thinks we're just the dumbest thing that ever walked the planet for doing this diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's just it. We sometimes have to kind of let them feel that way and just lead by example in a way.
Yes.
Because it's hard, it's hard. It's truly hard, just like what Cindy's experiencing. It is hard to convince someone, even with the leading by example, because even like Cindy very well, look how far she's in her journey. She truly is at the point where she should be able to have that advantage of leading by example. But it's like any addiction. Like if that person truly is not ready, it's not going to happen. It's not.
Well, it's like our son, we're trying to get our son to get on this, at least, we've at least been trying to get him to do Ketovore,
Right.
Because he only has one functioning kidney.
Oh,
and
wow.
he's got, they call it chicken skin. And Dr. Barry actually did a video on, it's called keratosis pilaris, and going or will help heal that too. And we've been trying to convince him, but he's 15 years old, and I can't have a hamburger without my buns. And
my stepdaughter has that. She has that all over her arms, and she's like 30, 31, 32. She ain't gonna listen. She needs to do something too. She's not a small girl.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah, it's rough because it's like you don't want to have any sort of stress with this way of eating because, every aspect of our body, from mentally to physically, we want everything to be feeling good. But then when you have family members that it's like you feel like you can save them from themselves, it's difficult. It really is.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, last May we went home for a visit to New Hampshire. And when we were on our way home, my son called me. He said, guess what, Mom? My younger son, he's 41. He's like, we're going to do keto. And I'm like, yay. And they're struggling, money wise. They're having a tough time. Between the rent up there is crazy expensive and just trying to make ends meet. So it's really, really tough. I said, dude, hot dogs, ground beef is not expensive.
And Dr. Barry said it's okay.
It's that potted meat. Dr. Barry said potted meat. I'm like, that was weird to hear that. But yeah, I mean, what are those other silly things I can't stand? Oh,
sausages.
The cans with those little bitty Vienna sausages.
Yeah.
I mean, anything like that. It's like tuna fish, chicken. Chicken is not expensive. It's like you can do this with anything like that.
Yeah.
And
Chicken
he was
leg.
just diagnosed with type 2 or
There's so
pre-diabetes
many
and was
affordable
put on
options.
metformin.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you got to do something.
Right.
But so when we went back this year in June, I had a long discussion with him and I said, you know, your health should be more important than anything else right now. I said, you know, you want to be around for your kids who are 18 and 20. I said, you got to do something now because you're headed down a slippery slope. And, you know, and like Sana said, I've done everything to set that example for them. You know, they started seeing me lose all this before we moved away. And then when we went back, I had lost more and they could see I'm off of my meds. I'm off of this. I'm better than this. I feel better than I had in my 30s, you know, more mobile than I have been in years. And it's like, you got to do something. You just got to do it. So,
did you want me to read, Cindy?
So
I know you said you had to take off your
type 2 diabetic, and by listening to his doctor, he may lose a limb or go blind. I tried to talk to him about changing his diet, but he said no, he likes his sugar.
And that's like our other daughter. She's on insulin, and she thinks that's her magic pill that she can still eat and drink whatever she wants.
Right.
So, you know, it's like you try to talk to your kids. I mean, you know, we told her you know how many times your dad's been in and out of the hospital with insulin because his diabetes was out of control because he had that one cheat day. You know, I said, you know, the doctor even told her, you know, if you don't keep it under control, you could lose a limb. And she's just so adamant that doesn't happen. But you know, she's got it in her head that the insulin is going to keep her at bay, that, you know, nothing bad's going to happen to her.
I'll tell you what, Dr. Bernstein has a fantastic book out. I heard about it from Dr. Barry. I bought the book. He's a type 1 diabetic. He's in his 80s and he's still practicing medicine.
Wow.
And the one thing it said in this book that really hit home, and I read it to Brian because he wouldn't read the book. I said, it says whether you are diabetic or not, the more insulin you have to inject or the more insulin your pancreas has to produce, the more damage you're doing to your other organs. And I mean, I'm like, whoa. So I read that to Brian. I think that's what got him started on keto. Because being on an insulin pump, he thought he was just, you know, whatever. He could eat whatever.
Right.
And no, because the more you're having to put in, the more you're risking your kidney damage. And he's already had bleeding where he had to get shots in his eye. He's had laser surgery in his eyes in the past. But that's what diabetes does to you. You can lose a limb. You can lose your eyesight. You can, it's just so, it's so bad. I mean, it's like he can never reverse his, but he can maintain it. He can control it.
Yeah.
So it's so important. Brenda, I would be bringing my diabetic son and nurse daughter-in-law to Keto Palooza, bribe them with dinner at Jeff Ruby's Saturday night.
Sending positive vibes, Brenda. Truly am.
Yeah.
And like I said there, I really hope they have that aha moment because even watching, and I don't know, Amber and Dan, if you've ever watched, but a lot of the keto events are recorded, like especially a lot of the discussions, you know, that Dr. Barry does, and a lot of like the really influential speakers within the community. But just coming from someone that has done keto for 4 years and now almost 9 months carnivore, if I was a newbie, like that would blow me away. Some of the just discussions that they do. I mean, how could somebody not, you know, get convinced just to try it? Because that's all they have to do is just try, see what happens. And it's
Dr. Barry sold us on it.
Well, we've been brainwashed for so many years on how everything else is better for us, and meat's bad for you, and it's been pounded into our brains forever. And
For
now
so long,
the opposite, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Oh
It
yeah,
could be
don't eat red
scary.
meat.
Yeah.
No.
No matter how much proof you show them, you can show them videos of all the success and all that. They still, that's not real.
Yeah. Ours is, mainly we're trying to get our health back. We're trying to reverse our type 2 diabetes, and it's a preventative maintenance thing. Because my grandmother on my mom's side, she was diabetic. She went blind. My mom just recently was diagnosed diabetic the last few years. I don't know if it's the macular degeneration or if it's part of her diabetes, but she's losing her eyesight. And there's no way in hell I'm going to let that happen to me.
Wow, no way. Wow.
I don't want it. I want to be able to see
rough.
my children. So
I mean, I saw what Brian went through with just a little bleeding behind his eye. He could not see out of that eye. And, we went to the eye doctor here and he said, you need to go to a specialist. And they had to do injections in the white of his eye. He got like 2 of them. But I'm going to tell you, the last visit, they checked his eyes and they said, there's no more swelling. There's no more issues with his eye because he has really tightened up his eating to where it is mostly meats, eggs, mostly carnivore. He'll have a few vegetables, like he'll have broccoli if we go out, or once in a great while a salad. But he has tightened that up more than I have. And he's doing fantastic. He said his eyes, we both have had cataract surgery. So when I have the glasses, it's for close up. But it's like he's done so well that it impresses me. It's like, because I've seen him be really bad. He also has a movement disorder that he had symptoms similar to Parkinson's. And he's had deep brain stimulation surgery to help control the movement, which it does, thank goodness. But even that seems to be so much more improved with eating this way than it was prior to. It's just incredible. So it's just.
I think that's kind of what helped me after my accident too, because even my doctor's amazed on how much movement I got back in my arm and stuff. And I think carnivore had a lot to do with how far I've come.
It sure has.
Yeah, it's definitely been a road to healing for us this year on our journey. So I guess the weight loss will come later.
Still waiting on that part.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's doing good.
We've lost some, but not like other people, not like Sean, who lost, 140 pounds in a year or something. And
Sean that's is a miracle story. I swear.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's going to be different, and not everyone is visually going to look like what they lost. Because even for myself, I'm up to 109-pound loss. I still have a ways to go on my journey.
Right.
But still yet, we have to kind of change the mentality too, because I discuss this a lot with my content, that, proof is not with the scale, it is in the healing. And everything you both have mentioned that you have experienced, the healing, all the non-scale victories, that is going to get the best that it's going to get than any number on the scale is going to tell you. Because really, what is that number on the scale? It's just a number.
Oh yeah.
It really truly is just a number.
Yeah, I haven't.
So I think you both are doing amazing. And think of it. Oh, go ahead.
That's kind of what kept me going is,
yes,
on-scale stuff. But I haven't had no weight loss. I'm actually I'm heavier than I was when we started.
You say.
But everything else is going so good, it's just like, okay, I'll give it a little more time and a little more time. Because sometimes carnivore in the beginning for me was hard because it was monotonous. The same thing every day, all the time. And it's like, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. But you just kind of keep trudging through it. And it's getting a little better. There's still sometimes it's like, okay, I need to wrap this burger in lettuce or something. Mm-hmm. I got to have something else with my burger besides just beef because it's hard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, sometimes when you do the same thing over and over and over again, your body gets used to that and holds on to that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to mix things up and change things up and to keep your body guessing. And then the weight loss will come too. Because I've had to do that over this past few years. What's today's date? 22nd? 5 days from now is my 3-year Ketoversary. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, I've had to change things up. I've done egg fasts. And I mean, I love eggs. I never got tired of them. In fact, they say like to do a 3-day egg fast. I did a 7-day one. It was great. That was the easiest thing I'd ever done. Because it was just cooking eggs.
I can't eat eggs no more. I'm so done with eggs.
That's funny because I was just asking him this morning. I was like, let's do a 3-day egg fast. And he's like, why?
I'll tell you, I would do it again. You know, it's like, I love them.
Yeah, but you have to definitely take, if you're going to change things up, definitely don't just have it be just about the number on the scale not showing you what you want to see, because we also have to realize muscle is denser than fat. Mm-hmm. So even if you're having the fat loss, it could be being replaced by muscle, and that could be the gain on the scale. It's not necessarily that you're truly not losing. You could be gaining muscle. So I think it's more so like if you're not reaching any of your better health goals that you set for yourself, then you can kind of look at that and be like, okay, like I really need to change things because I am not having like any difference at all. That's when you slowly start trying different things. But just to rely on just the scale alone, it has to definitely be more than that, because for me, if I basically change everything based off on the scale, who knows like what way of eating I would be doing right now.
No, I just meant some people need to do like some people.
Yeah, no, it's not about anything what you're saying. I'm just like adding to it for it not to just be about the scale. If anyone's thinking of changing any way of eating or any approach that they're taking, let it just not be just about the scale only. Have to see if, if anything else is not being accomplished. Exactly.
It's all the health benefits. The weight loss is an added bonus.
Yeah, it's definitely that silver lining.
Definitely. But I was just saying that some people can't tolerate as much fat as other people can with eating it. Like Harry and Wendy, they're doing this protocol for September, and they're doing some protein sparing modified fast days. They're doing some regular keto carnivore days, and they're mixing it up. And it has done so much for them this month. It's just incredible, from the way their clothes are fitting, everything. They feel better, other than she had a virus a while ago last week. But overall, I mean, they feel a lot better.
Yeah, if you're both, or if anyone's not familiar with who Cindy's referring to, that's loving it on keto is Wendy and Harry.
Okay. And see, that's one of the pieces of advice I give people that are starting out or curious about the carnivore diet. One of the things I tell them is take your measurements first and stay off that damn scale, because it's just going to piss you off, because you're going to see those numbers constantly going up and down. Sometimes they go up and then they go up and then they go up before they start going down again. And, that's one of the things. Take your measurements at the very beginning of your journey. I do a belly measurement once a month. And since I've started this journey, I've lost 5 inches off my waist.
Good.
So
You see,
but the
congratulations.
numbers on the
Wow.
scale are about the
You
same,
see,
you know?
it's
So
very deceiving. Yeah.
it's not.
And after
And you
my
probably would have wanted to change something because of that number on the scale not changing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've almost gave up a couple times because I was gaining
You
weight.
see, yeah.
But like after my accident, I was so sedentary because I shattered both arms. So
Right.
I'm getting back a lot of muscle because I can do a lot of things I couldn't do before now.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of muscle just sitting there, and so
Thanks, Brenda. Yeah, I mean, just the scale is not the end all be all of your journey. It's not going to determine how healthy you're going to be. And, you got to look at your non-scale victories. Like us, we're completely off of medication. My premenopause has improved. My menstrual cycles pain has improved. My arthritis is not as bad as it used to be. I can do kettlebell swings. I didn't used to be able to do that because my knees would not let me. It's look at all the things that your body is doing. That's a positive thing. The weight loss will come eventually. It may not come right away. You may see a little bit here and there, but you got to look at what the health benefits, what it's doing to your life in a great way.
Yep.
You're just adding numbers onto your life.
Absolutely.
Forget about the scale. You're adding years onto your life. If you want to have any kind of healthy future, then at least give the carnivore diet 30 days and see what it does to you.
30 days is enough.
More like 90 days. But for those people who are, like really skeptical, like try for 30 days. And then once you've done that 30 days, do another 30 days.
So when you first start, it's hard to recognize those non-scale victories.
Yeah.
You're
It
so
is, yeah.
weight loss and everything else, and
yeah,
trying to eat right, and you're sick of meat now, but you're not noticing everything else. It's kind of hard to see that in the beginning until you start realizing, oh, well, I haven't done this, and I don't need this no more.
So yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Well, you know what Dr. Berry says? When you're sick of meat, it just means you're not hungry.
Yeah. Dr. Chafee says the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That just means you're not hungry. So you're just going to fast a little longer.
And I've done that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I do.
And the sad thing is, we get used to being sick is the sad thing too. So once we start to slowly kind of feel healing, unless you're really kind of in tune with your body, and just like Dan said, you really have to be focused and in tune with those non-scale victories, because sometimes we've just been sick for so long that that light bulb does not really go off until like you really kind of just take the time and like just stop and be like, you know what? I'm doing something I never was able to do before.
Right.
And actually have that aha moment.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be 6 months and I'll be like, hey, I noticed my back's not hurting anymore.
Right.
You're like, okay, this is good,
I'm wearing clothes I haven't worn in a while,
Right.
Just little stuff like that.
All those shirts that stood in the back of the closet, those were the save for later when I lose weight shirts, hey, I can wear them now. You just got to look at the non-scale victories.
Absolutely. Those are way bigger than what it says on the scale. Now I do weigh in every week just because we have a chat going. My sister and I and 3 of my nieces, we're all on the ketogenic way of eating. So we hold each other accountable, weighing in every Saturday. And we report in, whether it's up a pound, down a pound, up 2, down 2, whatever it is. It's like, but we also, I did a video on our family progress a while back. And between the 5 of us plus my husband, I think it was over 300-pound loss total. something like that. So yeah, I mean,
That's-
I've had the most, but some didn't have as much to lose as I did. Others haven't been on it as long as I have. My sister Debbie is the one that got me started on it. Her and her daughter started at the same time. I followed suit a few months later, but they didn't have as much to lose as I did.
Right.
You know, like Debbie, I think it was like 40 pounds. If she's still here, she'll correct me if it's wrong. But yeah, but just the benefits that they've seen, the health benefits, it's all included in this video. And it was, to me, that was probably the most powerful video I've done, because I've got all their stories, and I just read their stories right from there and showed before and after pictures of all of us. It was good.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I wish my husband would stop snoring. I do. Gosh.
He still snores, but not as bad as he used to, because he's got sleep apnea.
Okay.
I think I'm
But
sure
it's
my
improved
husband
a
does
lot.
too. He has to go to a neurologist for that next month.
Yeah, but then they strap that machine to your face and expect you to sleep with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you, he's going to strap that machine to his face so I can sleep.
I tried it. I couldn't do it. That's enough of that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is the reason why you haven't snored as bad, but so after his accident, for him to be more comfortable in bed, we bought him this foam wedge to go underneath his pillows.
Oh,
so
yes. To be
so
elevated, yeah. That little bit of propping up, yeah. Yeah,
So
that can
that's-
definitely help the airway, yeah. Most definitely. Yeah, but just like Brenda's husband, thankfully, like my husband, I want to say it was almost like at like the halfway year mark of keto. Yeah, he doesn't snore. And he used to be a loud snorer. Like
Oh.
literally you would be able to probably like hear him like on the other side of the house. Like that's how loud he was, and
Your husband?
completely. Yeah, my husband Tony, completely just normal breathing. Normal breathing.
See,
Wow.
this has not helped Brian at all with his snoring. And I mean, holy mackerel. It's like if I wake up, I'm doomed. I'm not going to go back to sleep.
Well.
It's that bad. Between that and he'll lay there and then it'll get quiet and all of a sudden he'll go, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
So I almost am afraid to fall back to sleep because he's going to stop breathing in his sleep and I'm going to have to smack him awake to get him to keep breathing. But
Snoring. Peels the paint off the walls, Brenda.
Right.
yeah, he's bad. It's like I went to bed last night and he is just, oh my goodness, flat out on his back snoring. I hit him. I said, roll over.
That's what I used to do.
He rolled over, and 2 minutes later, he's back on his back, snoring so loud now. I'm like,
oh no.
And I was one of those too. I had to fall asleep first, or else I couldn't sleep. So I would. Sometimes if he went to bed before me, I'd be like, "Oh God."
Exactly.
Now, But there was a lot of times
I asked him,
like, hey, roll over.
I asked him this afternoon. I said, "You remember me waking you up to roll your butt over last night?" Yeah, a little bit. I said, "You were right back over like 2 minutes later." I'm like, I felt like just kicking your butt out of bed. Oh, it's crazy.
Did you both have dinner as of yet?
Us?
Yes.
Have you guys had dinner?
Probably around about now. We don't know what we're doing though, because I didn't set anything out of the freezer.
Well, we just ate those hamburgers a little bit ago.
Yeah,
too,
we kind of had a late lunch. We had burgers.
Well, it's only 5:00 there.
Yeah.
It's 8:00 here, so. I thought you were asking me.
You
I'm
can't
like,
go
no,
you can't
I'm
go
not
wrong with
eating.
burgers. You definitely can't go wrong with burgers.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Especially
like
the way
me.
we
I
make
could eat
ours,
burgers
we
every
fry 'em up
day.
in the skillet, and we use the hamburger patties as buns and then just put bacon in between it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I saw you do that on one of your videos. That was great.
Yeah, we call he started to call them Berber burgers. So I was like, okay, that's what they're called then.
Yeah, because what I do, because I'm doing like dairy free for September, not like as a challenge or anything like that. I've just took out dairy because it just does not taste the same way to me anymore. Because when I started carnivore, I cut out the dairy for 4 months, try to reintroduce it back, but certain cheeses do not taste like anything to me, like
Right.
zero taste. So I'm gonna see when I do like a reintroduction with cheese again, like how I feel about it then. But I would do like the same like you're describing, like 2 burger patties, and then I'll do an egg in the middle, like an egg
Okay.
and cheese to sandwich it just with like the egg and cheese, and that's really good. Like especially if you have the egg over easy.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. It just
I have
elevates
it
the
with yolk.
taste.
I'd love eggs. It don't matter.
Now I have to have eggs a certain way. Like I can't do hard boiled if they're cold.
Oh,
I have to do like if I do scrambled, they have to have cheese on them, and I'm trying not to do so much cheese.
right.
I'm trying to be really low on my dairy intake, and I can do deviled eggs, and I can do the creamy scrambled eggs, but other than that, and he can only do them hard boiled. So we have a weird kind of egg aversion in this house.
And
They
you
have,
don't mind, Dan, if the hard boiled's cold then?
Huh?
You just love hard boiled?
Yeah, that's the one way I can still eat them.
Yeah. With
Have you
smoked
tried?
salt.
Have you tried frying the hard-boiled eggs?
Uh-uh.
Oh my word, so good! You just
Might have
cut them
tried
in
it.
half.
Uh-huh.
Take the hard-boiled eggs, melt some butter in a skillet, and fry them. They are
Oh my
amazing.
We have some in the fridge. We should do that.
They are absolutely amazing. It's like, whoo.
That does sound good.
It does.
I saw that on Lindsay Murphy's channel. She had done that, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this. And then I tried sprinkling some Parmesan cheese in the melted butter and then frying them, and that was even better. It's like, woo. But yeah, they are really good.
Mm. This one here, Brenda asked, has anybody tried the egg pudding? I have not tried egg pudding, but I heard somebody making chocolate egg pudding. I'm kind of leery about that. Has anybody tried that yet?
Maria Emmerich did that with hard-boiled eggs. I don't even see her chat. What are they? See it?
There's a few different recipes out there, but like Cindy said, I think the popular one is the Maria Emmerich one.
The
And
Two
because
Crazy
all our
Ketos has
taste
one
buds
with
are
lightly
different.
scrambled eggs that made it
Yeah.
into pudding. I haven't
But
tried
because
them.
everyone's taste buds are different, it's kind of almost like you have to make it yourself to see how it tastes, because some say it tastes eggy, others say it does not taste eggy. Then they say make sure you're eating it cold, like give it enough refrigeration time to eat it cold. And then I guess that takes away that eggy taste, and like the texture is just more pleasing. But there's definitely mixed reviews on both recipes.
I wonder if it's similar to the creamy eggs recipe that I make, because I just do eggs and butter, and it's like the Gordon Ramsay creme fraiche eggs recipe without the creme.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just, constantly stir them on low heat, take them off the heat, stir them, and I keep going back and forth like he does, and I call them creamy eggs.
Not a fan.
Yeah, he doesn't like them, but I love them. What is it? I've made it using what's 2KK?
Two crazy ketos.
Ketos.
Oh.
Yeah, with these scrambled eggs that Cindy was referring to. This time it's just not thick enough. Doesn't taste like eggs. Oh, okay. And that was even with refrigerating it.
That's wild. I have not tried any of the puddings made with eggs, whether it's Maria's or Two Crazy Ketos recipe. That just now I've made pudding with keto chow. That's good. Oh man.
You can do a lot of things with keto chow, apparently.
You can. It's amazing. They have a savory chicken flavor that you can use to make drop biscuits with. And I'm telling you, it is amazing.
Oh, that does sound good. Now, what do you use for the flour to make the biscuits?
With the keto chow, I think you need like a quarter cup of almond flour, baking powder, butter, and an egg.
Oh, okay.
Some egg whites. Yeah, you separate the yolks and use the egg whites. I haven't made them in a while, but
I've made a ketogenic woman. She made a carnivore bread for Triple B and E, and I made that. And he really likes it when I make a chuck roast because he doesn't like chuck roast plain by itself, but he'll eat the crap out of it with bread. So
okay,
that one's pretty good. You need egg white powder and bone broth powder for that recipe. But it's okay. It's pretty good. And I'll take a frozen stick of butter and I'll grate it. And then I'll mix the grated butter in with the bread batter. And it's really, oh my gosh, it's so good.
That's like Neely's bread recipe, her latest one with the frozen shredded butter. It's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brenda. I'll tell you, we're almost an hour and 41 minutes. Is that what that says, Sana?
Yes.
Woo. Real quick, this biscuit recipe, all these different flavors of keto chow. They have a birthday cake flavor. And I substituted that for the savory chicken and made biscuits. And I used it as a base for strawberry shortcake. Okay. And I'm telling you, that was absolutely amazing. Just a few strawberries, some sugar-free Cool Whip, and these birthday cake flavored biscuits.
Okay.
It was nuts. All right, I'm going to stop now because you all haven't tried this stuff.
Cookies with these keto chow recipes?
I'm sorry?
Have you made cookies?
Yeah, you can make cookies.
Okay.
Have you, she's asking.
Yes,
have you
I
made
have.
cookies?
I've made just about anything with it.
Okay.
They have a ton. They have a ton of recipes on their website.
Okay.
And it's ketochow.xyz is their website.
Okay.
They have a whole list of recipes for any flavor of keto chow that they have. A whole ton, whether it's savory or sweet or whatever. But they also have a beef soup base. They have a spicy taco. They have a tomato basil. So they do have savory flavors also. And they have some dairy-free flavors, Sana.
Yes. There's definitely a lot of recipes that they also have available, not only on the site, but they send the recipe cards too, is what I've noticed. And I'm sure Cindy can speak more on behalf of that.
In the surprise subscription box, they send a set of recipe cards.
Oh, nice.
Which I don't get. I have so much keto chow on hand. I canceled my subscription for now because I have way too much of it.
But then they also have a Facebook group. Keto Chow does. I'll see if I can pull it up here. But they do have a group, and everybody, you'll see a lot of just people getting really creative.
Keto Chow support group.
Yes. So even some recipes, some might have not thought up as of yet.
Right.
They also have a lot of recipes shared on there as well.
Okay. Yeah, people that are just testing it out, trying different things, and I'm not a recipe tester. I just follow recipes. The only thing I do off the grid is just throw stuff together like leftovers and make a casserole out of it, so I don't waste anything. But that's as I forgot the word I was going to use. Experimental. That's as experimental as I come with cooking. Or I'll just throw things together that I think sound good. I haven't killed my husband yet, so they must be good.
Sometimes that's how I come up with my best recipes, though.
Yeah.
And then I forget to write it down. And then when I want to go do it again, I'm like, I don't remember how I did that. I need some more water.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think we've been on this long enough. Hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We're supposed to shoot for about an hour.
Sometimes that hour is not long enough, though.
It's not.
no,
you know,
absolutely.
we've gone over so many times, and it's like, poof. But I know, well, Sana, you don't work tomorrow, so that's a good thing.
Oh, thankfully not, because otherwise I would be up 5 o'clock in the morning.
And I'm retired, so I don't need to worry about any of that ever. So.
But no, we definitely appreciate you both giving, especially the extended time, most definitely.
Yes.
And just as you said, Amber, it's hard to condense your journey in a short hour because an hour could be lengthy sometimes, especially if you're having exercise. But when you're, explaining something that you have like a passion and joy about, and because you're wanting to motivate and inspire others, yeah, an hour just doesn't cut it sometimes.
Right.
Definitely, because it's this is our magic pill. This is our prescription for better health.
Oh, absolutely.
It's way of eating. It's what's working for us, and we're going to stick with it.
It's our livelihood.
Yeah. And, and our main goal on the channel is, to share our journey with everybody, but also to share the fact that you can do this diet on a budget. I share recipes. I share grocery hauls. Totally just lost my train of thought.
Welcome to my world.
But I mean, you can do this, and it's simple. You go to the store, you buy the meat. Mm-hmm. You don't have to sign up for any diet plan. You don't have to join a club or anything like that. It's simple. You don't have to pay anybody to start this way of eating. You go to the store, you buy the meat, or your butcher, or you go hunting. Whatever the case may be, however you do it, however you have access to your meat, you get the meat, you bring it home, you cook it, and you eat it.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
Simple.
It is
so very easy. Well said. So very well said. Because exactly that word you said, simple. Embrace the simplicity. Do not complicate this. Because if you complicate it, it definitely sure heck could be complicated if you want to make it complicated. But no, absolutely. Everyone has to embrace the simplicity. Mm-hmm. Oh, Greg, thank you so much for being here. You will definitely have to catch the replay. But just real quick, Greg's asking you both, how is everyone doing tonight? So if you guys want to start off first.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
We just shared our carnivore journey, and we've been completely carnivore since April. We started out Ketovore at the beginning of the year, and basically we're on a journey to reverse our type 2 diabetes, which we were well on our way to do that, and obtain better health overall and heal ourselves, heal our gut, heal our bodies, and eventually drop the weight. So
it'll all come in due time. Everything.
Yeah.
That like we talked about earlier, the health journey is the most important. For sure.
And he says to not get rid of coffee.
Yes. You're not getting rid of coffee.
No. No.
I'm telling you, Sana, did you see their video when he's carrying the sign around?
For the coffee, yes. And that's why I mentioned earlier that very much sometimes it's like a mental thing, because when I was working like 80+ hour work weeks, oh my goodness, was I hooked on coffee big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I could go without eating, but I could not go without coffee. It was like, and I was able to have it black. Like I did not need like a dessert in a cup. It was very much like, I think, mental for me, because when I stopped working 80+ hour work weeks, I did not even realize like I was not drinking it. I was just not drinking it, and I just decided to just keep away from it. And even going into carnivore, like I started to do like a reintroduction process with seasonings, and then eventually cheese. But I think that's one thing that it was difficult on whether or not I was going to do a reintroduction with it. And something just told me why. It just had me questioning, like, why? Like, for what reason? So I just continue to stay away from it because I've just been away from it for so long. You're talking about like over 2 years now. So for me, it was one of those things like I did not need to incorporate it back. But if that's what somebody needs to have, it's just like Dr. Berry says, like if that's what you need to have, like definitely try decaf is what he suggests. But if somebody literally needs to have that coffee experience, and that's like what you're considering like the worst of the worst that you're doing, have at it.
Well, even decaf coffee has caffeine.
Yeah, it has a minute. Yeah.
That's what we were hoping the bone broth was going to take care of too. Maybe it was mental.
Right.
So just have that hot drink in the morning. So we tried doing the bone broth, and no, thank you.
Yeah.
Nope, he won. Funny, he won the protest. I gave in. We threw in the towel.
All your picketing worked, Dan.
That's right. Gonna make a
strike, right? He went on strike.
That was I never laughed so hard as that video and the one after where he still got the sign at the table.
Yes, it's a true form of a strike. It was funny.
Oh, thank you. What's your name? What's
Greg?
That would be Greg.
Greg, thank you, Greg. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I had somebody try to use my full name that I use on my YouTube channel and Facebook on Instagram. And Greg was one of them that got messages from me, supposedly me, and it wasn't me.
Oh.
And somebody else had alerted me to it, but I had, he had asked me, he said, do you have an Instagram account? I said, yeah. And it was like, oh. But I don't use my name as I do on YouTube or on Facebook. It's something different. And yeah, that was weird. But I shut that down real quick.
Yeah.
I blocked
we're gonna
that.
We're gonna try to put out more content, but this is our busy time of year. Christmas is coming, and we do a lot of handmade stuff here, and we've got a couple of events coming up that we're getting ready for. So we're not going to be as active on the channel right now, but we will certainly try.
I'll tell you, those wreaths that you're making are beautiful.
Absolutely, yes.
Oh my word, they are beautiful. But I'll tell you, I know you had said something about getting ready. I know you had said you're getting ready to start an Etsy shop. Look into something different. Yeah. We have an Etsy shop, and they're horrible. Try Poshmark. Or Shopify.
Okay.
Look into both of those first.
Okay.
Because Etsy has been horrible for us.
Okay.
We keep it going, but like I had a niece that years ago, she used to make jewelry, and She moved from Etsy to Poshmark, I believe it was.
Okay.
But yeah, I almost forgot to tell you that. But when
Okay.
you
Yeah.
brought
I
up that
appreciate
you're
that.
making these things, they're just beautiful.
Thank
Oh
you.
my goodness.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people
Yes.
ask me about shipping them, and
Mm.
I haven't been able to obtain the boxes to ship them in, and I just finally was able to get them. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Good. Because I'm gonna order one. They are gorgeous.
oh, thank you. Well, I'll let you know when I get started.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, you'll
Very
have to
nice.
share your shop if you post them. If you end up posting them to like a dedicated site or, somewhere dedicated, you'll definitely have to let us all know.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
another channel, but I haven't a crafting channel, but I haven't done anything on that channel probably in over a year. It's because I've been focusing more on our channel right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, while you're sitting there making those up, you should have your camera rolling.
Yeah, I usually do. We just reorganized the craft room and everything. So I'm gonna get going again.
So what's that channel name?
It's called Coffee and Crafts.
Coffee and Crafts.
Coffee and Crafts.
Let me see.
Yep. I have a
I'll have to
dedicated
see if
cup
I can
that
find
I
it.
drink coffee out of for every season on the channel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's the local girl that does the epoxy coffee cups, and she made them for me. So
Nice.
yeah. But speaking
That's
of
nice.
coffee, we need to go to the store and go buy some coffee because we don't have any for tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
that's definitely a must.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to keep you both because,
No,
I
we're
am like a
gonna.
huge advocate and this way of eating, we've definitely earned the right to get out there and live our very best life.
Mhm.
And it should not be spent
Yes.
behind our computers, our phones. We definitely
In
have to
front of
be
a
out there living our
camera.
best life. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
anytime you guys want to come back,
Okay.
let us know.
We will.
And
We'll
we'll do
do.
this again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super
definitely.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everyone that showed up in the chat, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you all for being
And
here.
thank you for coming and joining us. And Dan
Thank
was actually talking.
Hear that a lot.
Yeah.
We got him talking.
He's slowly coming out of his shell. When we first
Yay.
started, he was just like, I'm just here for support.
Well, Sana and I can't get our husbands on there to save our life. So,
Yeah,
you
and I've been
know,
trying so hard because my husband's like literally like his before and after. Like I posted on my personal page like years ago and it blew people away. So that's
Oh,
why
wow.
I try so hard to get him to come on, but no. And he very much had like a big, like looking like a big beer belly.
oh my
So
goodness, he looks so different.
Oh, wow.
he
That's
looks
like
like
Brian has a
literally,
heck
it
of a
looks like he
story.
lost like 10, 15 years off of him. That's how big
Wow.
of a dramatic difference he is.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But
But
no
anyhow,
luck getting him on.
we are going to end this. If you guys hang around for a minute. But
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And definitely, if you did not see the link already, definitely go ahead and show Amber and Dan's Carnivore Life some love in the form of a sub. We
yes,
appreciate you all for being here.
thank you so much. Good night.
Bye, y'all.
Good night, everyone.